Hi.
Hear a sound somewhere.
It
Is
was
that your
my
phone?
phone.
It
Yeah, it's
is
my
your phone.
phone. I forgot to turn it off.
All right. Hi, everyone. I see a lot of people in the chat. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Louis Mastro Mateo. I don't know if it's Louis or Louis. It's probably pronounced in English, right? I've seen Michael Sharp. Mama Homemade. Did I see her? Yes, I saw her
Yeah, she's
there.
there.
Bucket List Homestead. Lynn is here. Little Homestead by the Beach. Marilyn. I'm sure there's going to be a couple more people joining in a few minutes. Rambling with the Brums. Hello, Scott. How are you guys? Hope you guys are doing fine. Um, Today's live stream is going to be about trying not to waste food and money. And I have Annie at Back to Basics Homestead. How are you, Annie?
I'm good, and you?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's going to get worse tomorrow, probably, because we have a big, crazy snowstorm coming.
I know. We were supposed to get some snow, and then it changed, and then snow again, and then not. So we don't know. It's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, I think there's like a big wave of like huge amount of snow going, and it's probably going in waves like this because they don't know where it's gonna hit.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to find out the hard way when we wake up tomorrow morning if there's snow
Yeah,
or not.
exactly. It's we've heard it could be up to 80 centimeters of snow,
La la
which
la
is
la.
crazy.
No, 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 no.
Crazy.
No, no.
um, I was
80.
I was listening to the radio, and it was someone talking about how so many food gets wasted in a year. And I figured, it'd be a nice topic to bring along because as homesteaders, we want to preserve as much as we can. We try to garden, like to plant as much stuff as possible to provide our families for the year, but we have to make sure that we do it properly and that we don't do any waste. Hi, Angie and Mike. I was reading and I read that on one website it said 17%, and another one said 33%. So it's somewhere between 17 and 33%
Of
of all
waste?
the food produced in the world goes to waste. That is,
Insane. Even 17%, that's insane.
yeah, even if you take the lowest number at 17%, it's
Because there's people that can't even eat.
exactly. And this is what the podcast was about. Here from Montreal, Yann Lebeau. Hello, Yann.
It
Um,
breaks my heart hearing that number.
Yeah, especially
17
they were saying, I think that it's like 1 out of 5 kids doesn't even have enough food.
or doesn't go to school with breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
In my village, we're considered like a not poor, but there's a saying for that, and a lot of the kids go to school in my village not eating breakfast. And there was an orange a day or something like that that was going. You would pay $1, and they give you like an orange or orange juice. I can't remember, but when you hear that 1 out of 5 kids doesn't eat,
yeah, it's heartbreaking for sure.
it is.
In my area, they started doing some fundraisings, and they're buying breakfast for kids in school now, and they don't charge anything. They don't like they don't discriminate any kid. Like everyone, you go to school if you want a breakfast, you have it.
Yeah,
So there's no
I've heard of
chance.
it.
Uh,
I've heard. I think I went to Walmart, and I think that it's the kids club or the breakfast kids club.
Breakfast Club, I think, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've donated to that. But when you think of it, we have to donate, but yet we waste 17% of our food.
Yep. And I figured it'd be a nice topic because you do a lot of preserving,
I do.
and I don't necessarily at this point, but it is in my objectives for this year. I started purchasing a lot of mason jars. Basically, every time I go to town, and I even started ordering online. So I'm getting more and more mason jars.
Do it now because by the end of the month or end of April, they're going to be back ordered everywhere and it's going to go crazy again.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to buy as much as I can. I don't know. I don't think you guys can see, but I have a pressure canner right here.
You
I
do?
yeah, it's just a I'm not gonna say a cheap one. I don't know how good it is. Sal, my good buddy, gave it to me, so I have no
Uh,
idea.
you would have to look at the model number to see if you can
Yeah,
pressure can food in there. I know you can do like rice, potatoes, and stuff like that, but I'm not sure you'd be able to pressure can. You would have to check with the model number.
yeah, I think so because that's the way. That's the one that Sal's used to
Okay, well,
take. So
I from what I've heard, Serge was doing a lot of pressure counting. So
yeah, well, he gave it to me saying I should be able to put up to 5 jars in there. The 5 milliliters one, the 500 milliliters one.
yeah, the pints, they're called pints.
Yeah, well, I'm still learning all the terminology.
No worries, no
I
worries.
told you I'd have to watch your videos a couple more times.
Yeah, I'm just
Um,
teasing. I'm teasing.
I know, I know. I see that my son is watching. Luca, hello, Luca.
The
Um,
GYB Gaming, that's Luca.
yeah, he
Hi.
has his little gaming channel where he plays Roblox and a couple more games like that, and he posts online. I told him I don't care, but don't put your like personal information and don't put your face in there. And I mean, I show their face on my video, so it's kind of hard for me to tell them not to do it. Did I see anyone else coming in?
You have a couple of messages that you missed.
Yeah, I saw Chicken Coop for the Soul. Welcome to the chat. We have a breakfast program here at our schools. Yeah, I think we do. Most places now are starting to do the same thing. Here too, breakfast at school for every kid. That's cool. It's a good thing. Um, we used to live in Michigan. They had the best breakfast program. $1 a day for kids to eat an amazing breakfast. If your family couldn't afford it, it was okay. That's good. That's good. You know, at a certain point, I just hope that whoever can afford to pay uh, don't get pointed out or like. I mean, I hope it's confidential and the kids don't get to bully or get bullied or they also have snack club. If a kid is
That's
hungry, they
nice.
can go pick from snack basket in high school too. Nice, yeah, very very good, good stuff. Salut les garçons, Rémi. My son's name is Luca, so I said it. Talking to each other. What is considered food waste in a percentage, though? I think it's literally from what I read, if I read correctly, it's everything that was put on shelf at the store at some point and ended up going in a garbage. And that might be where the 33% is coming also because they're also saying that, um, farmers, a lot of farmers are producing either meat or vegetables, and at some point they can't sell it to the stores, and they end up having to waste it. I know there was it a strike or because of COVID? I think there was a store in Saint Leonard, not too far from here, or maybe Marilyn would know a little bit more than me. It's close to her parents' place. They had to shut down the factory for a few days or a few weeks, and they ended up having to waste a bunch of chickens, or I don't know what the whole story there, but I know there was a bunch of chickens wasted.
When COVID hit 2 years ago, and it was time to harvest in Quebec, there were so many farms that did not receive the help from the Mexicans or whoever the immigrants that would come here to pick up the stuff in the
Yeah,
fields. Uh, there are so many farmers putting on Facebook Marketplace, come pick, because if you don't come to pick it up, I'm going to have to waste it. There was blueberry patches that had the same problem. They had no pickers, no one to harvest the blueberries. So they at large posted everywhere. No charge, come, no limits. All you had to do was go on site and harvest it because they rather have it given to someone
yeah,
than to put it to waste. Obviously, they were going to be in debt, in negative that year, but at least they won't go to waste.
yeah,
And another story, I'm not going to name the store, but my father used to work at a store, and he was doing facing. He was filling up bulk items, and he saw containers over containers over containers of potatoes, of corn, the ears of corn. Let's just say that it was on the shelf for 5 days, the ears of corn. They would take whatever's left and put it in the dumpster without even, let's just say, opening it, seeing if some of it was still good, calling an organization. We have corn, it's still good, but it needs to be picked up now and processed now. Can you imagine how much food you can make with like cases and cases of corn? Or potatoes. You could have done potatoes and corn and do like this kind of chowder soup and then give it to schools, freeze it. Elderly people that don't eat, but no, they throw it in the containers and that was it.
Yeah,
Well, my father told me that, and I was financially not able to buy everything I wanted or eat all the food I wanted. I cried.
it's frustrating for sure.
It was, I just couldn't believe it that that type of food. It's still good. It's just it's not fresh enough to be sold to the consumers, like to the
Yeah,
in the grocery department.
and you could give it to like food banks or stuff like that. Like
Yeah, you would have like the food
freeze it.
has to be eaten like that day or the day after. There was no way of preserving it, or unless you cook it and you freeze it. But like the food was still edible. It was not like ugh or
Yeah.
walking or stuff on it. But
Um, to answer your question, Marilyn, I think they're talking more about like if you have, let's say, a bunch of onions. I'm guessing it's probably like 17% of those onions that won't be sold or that will be thrown in the garbage, not necessarily the peels or if it's being bought, I'm guessing it doesn't count. So if you buy it, whatever you do with the peels is probably not the same. And I know that they're doing a lot of surveys also in families to see um, in America, the Americans waste about $218 billion worth of food a year.
ouch.
That's insane. You
Ouch.
take all that food, I mean, imagine.
Well, I'm sure that in like in everywhere now in big cities, they give out those compost bins, and those onion peels are supposed to be put in that bin. So I do not think logically that it should be calculated as a food waste because the city is collecting it.
Mhm.
But I don't know if every city offers that service.
Probably not. That's that's too sad.
Because if it's not offered as a service, well, then it's a waste.
Yeah. Hello, Honey Badgers Homestead. Welcome to the chat. Is that from... Here's too. It's crazy. We live in one of the richest countries in the world, and we have children without eating food to eat, without
Yeah.
enough food to eat. Yeah. When you think about it that way, I mean, we're supposed to be. We're in a country where healthcare is free. We I mean, we understand that we pay taxes, but still, like, if your kid is sick, you can bring him to the hospital. It won't cost you any extra. Um, the rich people usually pay more taxes than the poor's. Like there's at least that positive thing right now going on in Canada. Let's put it this way. Um, and yet we don't do anything about the starving kids. It just breaks my heart, really. Nadu Poultry, that's possible. It rings a bell. It could be the one. I don't remember the whole story, but I know they did waste a lot of
There was
chickens.
also the ones that were caught with
Avian flu.
no, the
Oh,
COVID. Every employee caught it and they had to shut down for a certain amount of days, and a lot of, I can't remember if it was pork or chicken, but they had to waste it.
yeah. I remember hearing about chickens.
But I can't remember if it was here. I know it was somewhere in Canada, but there were so many stories within the
Yeah,
last few
it's
years that it's hard to keep track which one's which, but there was a lot of waste.
a bunch of horror stories, really. We don't waste much around here. Our chickens are the garbage disposal. Yeah, and we tend to do that too. When I had pigs, I would give pretty much everything to the pigs. When I have bits and pieces of lettuce and stuff like that, I can give it to the rabbits. Um, but as much as you try, there's always going to be a little bit of waste. I mean, we can't be perfect. I think it's
No,
just a matter of preparing properly, and this is where I'm coming to. I'm hoping that we're gonna, be able to go
the only
deeper.
way to be like waste free and not lose your mind, because you have to draw a line, like
Yeah,
how far do I want to go down that road without losing my mind. And like sometimes you just can't do it all, but there are things that can make a huge difference for sure.
my son saying thank you for watching my live. I told him you can come, but don't spam. I told him people that are watching are usually already subscribed, so don't go and ask them to subscribe. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic seeing farmers having to dump milk out because the restaurants
Yes,
it
I
was.
remember that. And we're not even allowed to go pick it up at the farm.
Yeah,
They had to throw it out. I remember that. It's, and now we wonder why the milk is being more expensive.
yeah. It's it's sad really because that's something that could have been easily preventable by our government and
If they would have told me tomorrow morning we have an over extra of milk, who's interested in buying a bulk, I would have been the first one in line.
hey, I drink we drink here about well, it used to be $50 of milk a week. Those bag, $7
Yeah.
a bag.
Yeah.
We used to buy one like that per day. And now my girlfriend and two of the kids are lactose intolerant. So not only do we still well, we don't really buy seven of those now. We buy maybe four or five.
And then the ones with lactose free.
They have to buy more expensive milk
Yeah.
with non-lactose.
Well, I make my own yogurt. I will be making my my milk kefir. So I probably will have 2 bags of 3.25 per week just with that. And I'll be making cheese with that, with the kefir. And then the 2% is at least 1 bag. But like, if I don't restrict the kids, we could probably go to 4 bags a week. So
Yeah.
if I would have the option of buying in bulk, I would. I would have
You,
frozen. I would have frozen it.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Even if you freeze it and make ice cream with it, doesn't go to
Yeah,
waste. Even if you
yeah,
give it to the chickens or to the dog or to the cats, I mean,
yeah. They could have
someone
given it to.
somewhere.
They could have given it to pigs.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Caitlin's Family Homestead. Hello, Josh at Mountain Roots. I'm gonna skip a couple of comments here. That's crazy. Yes, nothing goes to waste here. That's good. Uh, Relaxing. They just passed a bill here that stores and restaurant have food that's still good left over. They can donate it to food bank and shelters. That's good. Sorry. I think it was in Ontario. I've heard about it too here.
Sorry, I'm reading a comment that Bucket List Homes Lynn wrote. She wrote, I'll let you read the other. Sorry.
A bit more times than not. It's slower, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Hello,
sure.
Rents Homestead. Hello. I'll make it there. I'll make it there. I'll try to go faster.
No
You see
worries.
all the food farmers had thrown away because, yeah, that's what we're basically, it doesn't make sense when you hear about all the waste. And let's face it, the pandemic did not cause all of that waste.
No.
Um, I would have pushed you out of the way, Andy, or send you so much milk.
That's why I laughed. I would have paid, like, even if it was payable,
Yeah,
I still would have made that line to go pick it up. Even if I had to drive an hour to go pick it up, because I know farmers, ranchers, the dairy farms, they work so hard. They lose so much if they waste like 1 day of milk. They will be in negatives for maybe months. And there's one thing that a lot of people don't know, and there's actually something on Netflix about it, is the high rate of suicides in our
yeah,
farmers, in our Canadian farmers. Like when you know this as a homesteader, and just to buy a tractor for them to actually make more milk or being more efficient, and then having to throw away all that milk at what it represents. It's
Yeah.
just huge. It's huge.
Little question here for you, I guess. What is milk kefir good for? Is it because of fermentation?
Milk kefir is a ferment food. It's grains that looks like a cauliflower that you ferment at room temperature with milk. So you take those kefir grains, you put it in a mason jar, you fill it with milk. Obviously, there's proportions, and you leave it on your counter for 24 hours. You remove the kefir grains, and then you have a drinkable fermented yogurt. If you want cheese, you put it through a cheesecloth for 24 hours. Then you put a bit of salt, herbs. You can put fresh salmon or what's it called? You put it on cream cheese, and I'm losing my English tonight. Anyways,
I
it's
don't know.
salmon that you put like it's dehydrated under like a cold fire.
Sushi or
No,
smoked salmon?
that's it. That's what I was looking for. So you can put smoked salmon in that. And if you want to have like a cream cheese, sour cream consistency, you leave it for 48 hours, dripping all that away. So kefir is a fermented healthy food. There's water kefir and there's milk kefir. And I'm already doing the water kefir. And I will be adding the milk kefir next week.
So I'm just going to say hello to Melissa, Little House in the Big Woods. Hello, Zombie Prepper. Welcome to the chat. Hope everyone's having a good time tonight. And a little question here: do you do it with whole milk?
Yes, it's whole milk. You can do it with raw milk. You can do it with whole milk. Whole milk, sorry.
My daughter makes something like that. She leaves half of her bowl of cereal in the milk. Yeah. Do you start seeing movement after a while? I get that here too with the kids.
Not the same thing, but like I'm sure it ferments, but I don't think you're gonna have the good bacteria in there. I think you're gonna have more of the bad ones.
Hello, Tracy, TH141 Homestead. Helena Cocker, the rustic wife. Welcome to the chat. Um, when we talk about food waste, I can't put aside the fact that you've put a couple of videos in the last few days where you talk about preparation.
Yes.
Preparation about especially your tomatoes. I know I don't remember if it was a video that you put up or just a conversation we had. I know you also put another video today about how you prepare for your tomatoes.
Hmm.
Um, just how important do you think that preparing is when it comes to make sure that you don't waste food at the end of the line? How do
Well,
you make sure that doesn't happen?
okay. Well, I'm not like a specialist, but I do make mistakes. But like planning makes it easier for me. Like if I know how many recipes I want to do, well, I will have a better idea of what is required. So if I know that I need 70 tomato plants, I'm not going to go crazy and plant 90 because it's going to cost too much of my time, too much work, and I won't even, well, I could still can it for the future years, but it would not mean that I would have like cauliflower, broccoli. I would just have tomatoes. So by being uh, like making educated choice and prepping for like my tomatoes, my peppers, my green beans, and how much of each I have, well, I can and preserve about 1 year of food.
Yeah,
Canning. I
because the first year the first year I had success with my cucumbers, for example. I didn't know how much I was going to get. I didn't really prepare for that. I didn't like a lot of people at work already have a garden, so they didn't want me to bring any cucumbers. I mean, I gave a couple to my parents. I gave a couple to my brother who didn't succeed in growing them. But I had about 10 cucumbers per day for about a month and a half. Um, at first, like, okay, I'm going to eat cucumbers every day. Fine. My kids are going to do it also. Fine. But there's only seven of us. I mean, yes, we are seven, but there's still three more cucumbers per day that didn't get eaten, and it's not every kid that will eat a whole cucumber.
if I have that problem, Well, problem. It's not a problem, but like if I would be faced with that problem, I would go in a couple of directions for that. Can I preserve it? Can I can it? Can I freeze it? Can I dehydrate it? Uh, if those answers are no, what can I do with it? Like, can I do a smoothie with it? Can I do a popsicle with it? Can I, if I've exhausted all my neighbors and everyone around me, I will always find something. If I can't, I have chickens.
Yeah.
And if they don't eat it, well, my compost pile is going to be the next best thing
Yeah,
and
the last option.
my last resort. But then you're also feeding the birds. So someone somewhere by being in your compost pile, someone's going to eat it.
Yeah, on the long run, eventually the compost is going to help you grow more stuff in the future, and the nutrients are going to come back on your plate. I remember when that happened, I started realizing, okay, I have way too many cucumbers and I can't give them all away. So what do? I didn't want to waste them. I gave a couple to my chickens. I think that year I had pigs that were in my brother's place. I gave a couple to the pigs. I mean, I didn't want to waste it all either. Like, even if you give it to the animals, I feel like it's, they don't necessarily need it. So I
Yeah,
was
but you
trying to
save on the
find a way.
feed. You save on
Uh,
the feed. If you
yeah,
if
of
if
course.
you give them waste, you're cutting down on feed.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels odd, but you're saving something at the end, and someone's benefiting, like is having that food. At least it's not going in the garbage.
Yeah. And what I ended up doing was I remembered how I liked having just slice of cucumbers with my water in the morning. So
Yep.
I put them in a blender, made ice cube with them, put them in the freezer, and every morning I take one or two ice cubes of those cucumbers and put it in my water.
You
Of
you know
course,
that
after a
you can
couple
put
of
it on your eyes for those tu sais, les valises en dessous des yeux là. Those pouches you have, the black pouches, you can take cucumber frozen and put it under your eyes. There was a question for me that I missed.
oh, is that okay? Here, sorry, yeah.
What are you going to try to pressure can first this year? My pressure canner is still in the box. I need to find courage to pressure can my frozen chicken broth. That is my first thing I would like to do. The second thing is a sad moment. I went to take out my dry beans that I harvested from the garden last year, and there was fuzzy things in it. So when I dehydrated them, there was still moisture in it. So now whatever dry beans that I have would be the second thing that I can would be my dry beans, so that I don't lose those, because that was like maybe 15 dinners of dry beans that I lost because I
Oh,
didn't store it well.
yeah.
That was hard.
Well, it's a learning process, and hopefully that
Yeah,
it won't
I
happen again.
thought they were dry enough to store, but nope, they weren't.
Lynn is saying I canned applesauce last week because our apples were starting to look rough. 5 pounds of apples made us 5 pints of applesauce and no waste. I picked up so many wild apples last year. I ended up making a lot of applesauce. I I put them in those little jars. I don't know the right terms. I think they're only like 125 milliliters.
Those are half pint,
Quarter.
quarter pints.
Okay. And I ended up I didn't pressure can anything. It was my first time canning anything at all beside like raspberry jam. I think we've had a couple of years back, and I put them in the fridge. It was always in the fridge. I brought it at work today and yesterday, and when I opened it, it smelled fine. It tastes fine. So I ate it, and I'm still alive. So I guess it wasn't that bad. Can't get enough of cucumbers. I make cucumber relish with my extra. Yeah, it's not something that I like though. That's my problem. I don't like pickles and I don't like that kind of stuff.
You don't like pickles?
No, it's weird. I don't. Uh,
Your your mom must have eaten a lot of pickles while she was pregnant.
I don't know. I don't think she likes it. I don't know the smell. I guess there's maybe if I tried,
Oh
but when
God,
I go
pickles!
when I go to McDonald's, if there's pickles on my hamburgers, I won't eat it.
I like the pickle.
Hello, Randy. Can't wait to have garden fresh cucumbers in my water. So I'm not the only one doing it. Fine, it's good. It's good to know. If you use everything you possibly can, the rest only goes to waste if you throw it in the garbage. Compost, worm farms, chickens, pigs. There's always a way to put it, even bones to use.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
the bones is the only thing. It's the only thing I do not compost. If I would have like a huge land, I would have a bone or carcass, like when you harvest animals. Let's just say that I do not want to keep the carcass. I would have that compost pile way away from the house. But if I store bones and carcasses here, I would have like a lot of creepy crawlers near my house, and I don't want that.
Caitlin saying you can do it. I love pressure canning too.
Well, I know I can do it. I know I can because I've watched so many videos, and probably if I do it, I will be fine. It's just I need to do that. I don't know how to explain it. That first that first
Step.
step.
You have to leap into it and
Yeah,
just
I have to do it. It's like I've been the water kefir. I've researched for months before starting it, and now I'm doing it. It's not complicated. You just need to put water with your kefir grains and some sugar, and that's it. Same thing with the milk. The milk kefir, I've been pushing it, and it's because of Anny from Mama Homemade that I bought the two.
Hello, Dave Knight. I had to take my plant out of my greenhouse and put it in heated shop. I'm guessing you're receiving a lot of snow or cold or storm in your way. I don't remember exactly where you're from.
I think it's
Where
from
portion
down south. I can't remember. He posted something on one of my videos, and no, he's in Ontario.
possible.
I
We're
forgot.
getting a lot of snow here, so I don't know if you're getting the same thing as us. But if everyone is getting a lot of snow, just stay safe, stay warm,
This
and
is what I do when people tell me I have snow. Da, 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 da. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
apple butter is even better than applesauce. I've never tried. I've seen a couple of videos last year. It's something that I want to try. I'm just not a good cook when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Apple butter. Everyone thinks it's super complicated to do. You put everything in a crock pot and you leave it on for hours. That's it. At one point, there's going to be no more water, and it's just going to become like this weird
Texture.
texture butter.
Okay. You can use the peels from apples. You peel to make
Yes.
apple cider vinegar, which, yeah, I either give it to my chickens or we just eat it when we peel the
The
apples.
only thing is when you create your own apple vinegar, you cannot use it in canning. That's the only thing. So you can use it for your animals for their beneficial health. You
Hmm.
can drink it. You can use it in daily recipes. You just can't can with it because it's not tested.
See, I'm not the only one who doesn't eat pickles. Hello, Sean. How are
Hi,
you?
Sean.
Cucumbers make great chips dehydrated with spice on them. Oh yeah, you can dehydrate cucumbers. I didn't even know.
I did not know. I knew you could do it with zucchini chips, but I didn't know with cucumbers.
The pickles will be the least of my worries on what's in my mind. Yeah. Well, I actually had a big talk with my girlfriend this week, and I told her that I really want to start eating better. I mean, I homestead. I've been homesteading for about 2 years now with the garden and animals and stuff. But I'm at the point where I'm still at the point where I'll eat a bag of chips every week. I'll eat chocolate. I'll eat junk food. Like I really want to get that out of my life for my teeth, for my stomach, for my health, for my kids. Um, I got to the breaking point, I guess, to the point where I decided, it's over. It's gonna be tough. It's
It
gonna be
is.
hard, but
It is. But it's going to be so
I'll do,
worth it.
yeah, I'll do one step at a time. I kept thinking when I was growing up, I'd rather be happy eating junk food and live until I'm 80 than live an unhappy life until I'm 100 years old. But now I realize that I can do both because what I grow in my garden, I love eating it. So my mom takes all my turkey bones and boils them into broth. I wouldn't put
Yes,
roast meat. Yeah.
I do.
Salad.
That's exactly what I do. I cook all my chickens or my turkey, and then I freeze my bones. And when I'm ready to do like a big batch of broth, I just take out all the carcasses, the fat, and whatever vegetables were cooked with my chicken, and I just start a batch of broth.
Salad, I keep telling you, first time
Mm.
I do it, I want you to be here. Or if it's not you, someone else, because I'm the kind of person that needs someone to show me what to do, and then I can do it, and you can tell me if I do anything wrong. That's just the way I am. After the third time, I'll be all right to do it everything on my own. I will love it, but it's just the way I am.
I'm the
uh,
same way. I'm the same
yeah,
way. Someone has to be like touchy feely and show me exactly the ropes before I do it on my own. But with canning, with water bath canning, no one came at my house. I just watched probably 100 hours of videos before I could do it.
my girlfriend already had a little bit of experience with bath canning, so I guess it did
Well,
help me a little bit.
it's not hard. You just follow in the book. It when you're going to receive your book, it tells you step 1, you do this, step 2, you do that, step 3, you do. If you follow it, you're not supposed to mess it up if you follow the instructions.
How about the tea? I'm not sure about what tea. Oh, maybe a tea with cucumbers. I don't know.
Probably, but I would do maybe a cold tea.
So Marilyn didn't really like the water kefir.
No, well, Marilyn mentioned that there was too much sugar. I can't remember the amount she was saying, but for my 3 liter batch that I do, I put half a cup of no, cane sugar, and it doesn't taste sugary at all for me. I want
Seems
to
like it's
try
expensive.
kefir. The kids really like, but geez, it's expensive to buy. Are you talking about the water kefir or the milk kefir?
I'm so far behind. I guess we'll figure it out in 15 minutes.
No worries. I know, Angie. I know you're gonna mock me, tease me. I took it out of the box. That's the worst part. It was taken out of the box. I inspected it. I made sure everything was right. Then I took out my broth to thaw it and to pressure can it. And then I choked. I
So
was
David
scared.
K, Ontario. All right.
Okay, I wasn't that far off.
Hello, Heldan. How are
Hello.
you? Learning Acres, Learning Curve Acres. Welcome to the chat. Selge makes apple cider vinegar. That's something I want to learn how to properly do. Also,
It's apple scraps, water, and sugar, and you let it ferment for a certain amount of
yeah,
time. And
getting
obviously,
better.
you need a food grade bucket or jar.
Yeah, well, that's all the kind of stuff I need to know. And I hear myself speaking. Is it in your microphone or
No, my everything on my side is closed.
let me see? Okay, I don't know. I just hear myself in the background somewhere.
It's maybe your self consciousness talking to you.
That's possible, but then again,
Hello.
hello, hello. Okay, let's go a little bit faster. I tested my ACV for acidity. Usually get around it's better than 5. Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. The acidity level has to be, I think, 5% for you for you to use it into canning. Yes, that's
I've never tried. Uh, we should do a live teaching canning class. Yes, I was supposed to get someone I follow. I don't remember her name. Let's just give me a second. I'll go check.
the woman from Rebel Canner.
No, she was supposed to do a live with you at some point.
Yes, but like I'm not ready to take it out of the box yet.
You're not ready. I think her channel's name is Dom Teresa. Some
I don't
there's
remember.
a another part to her channel name there. She does a lot of canning. She was supposed to do a live with me at some point, but she got busy and things are just getting pushed. But it's still in the talk. I learned a can and make broth from my mom and grandma. Nice. My parents don't really can, so it's not something I could learn from them. You can take those bones after you're done making the bone broth and put them in the oven at 280 degrees for 2 or 3 hours, and then shove them in the blender, and you got your bone meal.
I never thought of that. But
Hmm.
would it lose the scent of the meat? Because I have like cats that probably would like go in my garden and dig.
And yes, Tracy, we Haney spoke to Tammy, I guess, at some point, and they're supposed to do a live stream.
Yes.
Well, there was talk about it. I don't
Yeah.
know if
We've talked about it. I messaged her in private. I need to convince this one to make it work.
it's gonna come. It's gonna come.
It's gonna come. Well, it's
So,
because the process is long. See, when you put everything in the pressure canner and then you let the pressure build, that can take like 15 to 20 minutes. And then on the second step, when the little jiggler starts dancing, that can take another 20 minutes. And then there's the cooking time. And then there's the after 5-10 minutes procedure for the pressure to go down. So it would be like a 3-4 hour live.
next question. Next topic I was going to dive into is um, we're talking about preparation, but
Yes.
there's also the fact that it's not only getting prepared. We need to know uh, what's the word, like what things we have to take into consideration. I mean, I got a family of 7. It's not going to be the same as a single mom or you know. Um, Sean, you live alone, off grid. You're not. We're not going to have the same preparation for sure. We're not going to have to consider the same different things. Um, same different things. It doesn't even make sense. But anyway,
There's
you guys know what I mean. Like
yeah.
we have to think about how many people are we going to feed? How many mason jars do we have? Are we going to freeze the food? Are we going to make soup with it? Are we going to do this or do that? There's so many things we have to think. What's
Yes.
what's the one thing that you can tell people maybe to, if you at
Well,
least do this?
I'm going within my 5th year. If I go back, let's just say that it was today, and I was planning my first year. Well, you're gonna feel like a chicken with no head the first couple of years. Like you're gonna go in every single direction because probably like me, no one has the knowledge, or if you have the knowledge, you haven't learned it. So I would say before you start, is to get some basic knowledge. Canning. Do you want a can? Do you want a pressure can? Uh, do you have freezer space? Do you have a dehydrator? What is your budget? Like I would start with those things, and then how much land can I allocate to garden? If I can't garden, what are my options that are offered to me so that I can have access to bulk food? And then the other side, it would be to make a plan. The first year, I wanted to be self sufficient on 3 items: tomatoes, peppers, and green beans. If I would have given myself too much, like corn, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and all those things, I would have went mad. So the year after, I decided to add 5 things to be self sufficient, and I add every single year. And then you have to continuously and ongoingly educate yourself. You need new skills. Okay, so I've done canning. Now my next skill will be pressure canning. Now once that is done, what's going to be the step after that, preserving wise? What are the ways that I can use and utilize the food that I have frozen, the food that I have dehydrated, and the food that I've canned? Because it's fun to have 20 pints of salsa, but you have to eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
So at first like, oh my God, I have 20 pints of salsa. And then next year, you still have 20 pints of salsa on your shelf because you don't know how to use it. So, like the last thing I would say is to have versatile, like a versatile. Is that how you say it? Versatile
Yeah.
recipes. So when I do my salsa, I try not to do it too spicy because I have young kids, and I use it for my chili. So instead of using diced tomatoes, peppers, and whatever ingredients, cilantro, I just make sure that in my salsa, the recipe that I found has everything I need, and then I just use 2 cans of those to put in my chili. And since I know that I make chili twice a month, I make sure that I allocate those certain amount of chili, I mean a salsa, just for that. So if I want to eat fresh salsa, I make more. So that's
There's a question for you. Is your pressure canner from Presto?
yes. Yes. Yes, I think it is Presto.
I'll try to just go a little bit faster through the comments because I'm kind of far behind. But we touched all the points I had. You kind of answered my last question when you talked about buying in bulk and preserving. Save your onion peels when you're sick. Put hot water over them. Drink like a tea. Very good for you. I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yes, I've heard that, but I have a tendency of putting it in my broth, any broth that I do, because it gives it that dark, rich color to my broth. But I've heard of it, the onion peels for when you're sick.
Angie, I don't know if my son is close by. That could have been it. Maybe it was in the stairs because I don't hear it now. So whatever it was,
Ah, it could have been. He
or
could have been watching you from just on top of you.
well, he has his phone in his hands. That's probably
Yes.
what he was doing, walking around, and so it could have been close. I mean, my bedroom is right there and that side, and he often goes in there to play PlayStation with his friends. So, biggest thing is making ACV is don't use metal, stainless steel. The easiest way to make vinegar is to buy an organic vinegar with the mother in it.
Yes. Yes, that's another way. So if you have like an actual vinegar, you can use it as a mother.
Cool, good to know. Hello, HFH Jote. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Welcome to the chat. First time I see you here. Hope you're having a good night.
Hello.
Um, and Marilyn or any other moderators, if you want to share Hanny's channel in the comments, that'd
I
be
think Marilyn shared it
oh,
earlier on. I think so.
okay, maybe.
I try to keep track of the comments, but I kind
There's a
of
lot.
there's like so many I lost track.
Yeah.
We're so
Here's
behind.
Oracle from Urami, but it's really faint until you mentioned I didn't notice. Okay, so yeah, I had to really listen to hear it. It's just that at some point I said something and then it kind of heard it back again. INT doesn't actually have that bad of a taste. Okay, I will definitely try.
There's so many things that we don't know that we would normally either put in the compost that we can actually do something with it.
And I didn't mean that in any offensive way, Sean. I saw your name popping in, and I figured, we don't really have the same amount of people to feed. Let's just put it this
Well,
way. But then again, the fact that we're seven, eventually we're going to go hunting, and there's going to be seven of us. So we got
yeah.
7 more chances to harvest a moose or a deer, or like there's good and bads. I mean, we can work
I did
together.
forget to say one thing on your question earlier. If you're on grid, if you're off grid, and your growing zone, because if you're like Sean, I think he's zone 2 or 3, I can't remember. So if you're like zone 5, like I am, you don't have that many restrictions. If you're zone 4, 3, 2, well, then your growing season is much shorter. So you need to keep in mind your growing zones so that you can make the most out of it.
I would say do the following meal plan for the first week first. Record what you consume. Pick one of those items to start with. Once that is done, add to it.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
that's an excellent idea.
Yeah.
What I did is I wrote down. I did 2 things when I started. I went to the grocery store and I took notes of everything that I would buy that's in a can or in a jar. So if I am someone that buys diced tomatoes, I wrote diced tomatoes. If I buy tomato soup, tomato this, tomato that, or relish, mustard, everything that I bought, I've written it down. And it kind of adds up fast, the recipes that you can make. But I didn't do it all the first years. I decided that I was going to go obviously the diced tomato, the tomato sauce, those are easy to do. Salsa is easy to do. I would freeze green beans. I did not pressure can my green beans when I started, and I just made it really, really simple. And then at the end of the year, when I was eating my preserved food, I just made sure to say, okay, do I like this recipe? Okay, I do like it. I will remake it. I don't like it. Well, then scratch it off and adapt. Let's just say that the green beans frozen, I did not enjoy it. Well, then I would find another way to preserve them so that I made sure that my hard work during the summer was not put to waste.
Yeah. You can pressure can chili with meat in it.
Yes.
You can pressure can. If you can pressure can
soup. Yeah, I want to do soups, chili, and stews. For those, those nights that you don't want to cook.
You don't feel like cooking, yeah.
Yeah, you just put like a diced tomatoes in stew and that's it. Like you just leave it on the stove for like 20 minutes, like while you take your shower or whatever, and you have an express meal. I really want to do those.
Hello, Creative Redundancy. Welcome to the chat. She's sharing again, so people are saying hi to each other. Been subbed to me, but never caught it alive. Oh, nice. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. At this time of year, I don't really have much videos. I don't really have much content, but it's gonna come. Shed Wars. I don't know if it's the first live I do, the first time I actually talk about Shed Wars. I was drafted
No, it's not the
fifth
first
round. Fifth round, 10 overall by Robert at Homestead Aquarius. I was just hoping to be selected, somewhere in the top 60. I never, in my wildest dream, thought I would be picked in the top 10. That means that they see something I don't see in myself because, I don't know, I was really, wow, like it blew my mind that I was, not only picked early, but the way they were talking about me, I never realized that I had so much to teach. And now I have to put everything in second gear and start,
You have to do it now. There's no turning back.
Exactly. No, I know. And I'm up to the challenge. And when I told the kids for the first time, I talked to the kids about, we're going to have to work together. We're going to have to grow more food this year. And the kids told me, Dad, we're going to help you because I think they're like me. They're competitive. No matter what we do, I'm a very competitive person.
That's going to be fun.
They used to have like soccer games where they would just go and split up in two and ask us to go play, and I never wanted to because if there's nothing at the end of the line, I don't bother playing. I keep saying we play for fun, but winning is even more fun. So that's just me. But I guess that's the way I am in life in general. I always try to do the best I can do, and it's funny because I was talking today to some of my coworkers, and I told them I've seen that in one of the TV shows. I think it's in How I Met Your Mother. The guy says, "Well, I did my best." Well, it's all right that you did your best, but I want you to do the best of someone better than you. And for some reason, that stays in my mind, and that's always what I try to do. I always try to do and be better than better and better and better. They're going upstairs. I guess they don't care that I'm live.
They're stomping on your head.
Yeah, it makes so much noise. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to just cut the noise a little bit because that's why sometimes I'm on other people's lives and you see me.
Well, you have kids. You can't put them in the closet, so.
Yeah, so I'm in a closet. And
you're the one in the closet.
Yeah, and I guess with where I was going with Shed Wars is I'm kind of lucky that I have 5 kids because I'm not going to waste as much as I would if I was alone or if I was just my girlfriend and I. It's all about the amount of food that we can bring in and that we're going to use for the family.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to waste much because even if I grow 200 pumpkins, for example, I'm going to find a way to preserve it. And if I can't, there's going to be some stuff that's going to get done with it because, I mean, I have a big family. I can
You're,
grow
you,
more than most people.
the pigs love squash.
Well, here they don't,
They
but I
don't?
do. I'll eat squash for breakfast, and
No, no,
again, before I
not
go
the
to
kids. Not the kids. The pigs.
oh the pigs. Sorry,
The
I said
pigs.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's not going to go to waste. But if I
No,
give it to my pigs, I can't count it in my
no. But if you give squash to your pigs,
they'll
the
get bigger.
the year before, I mean the year after, where your pigs were, you're gonna have a pumpkin patch.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
because it goes in their digestive tract, and the seed is protected and then goes out into compost, and then the years after that, you're gonna have pumpkins everywhere.
Ready to use this season. Cool. So a lot of people are talking. Have
Sorry.
you around at the trees and plants already growing around you to see what you can harvest and use? Uh, yes, I did check. There's actually going to be a video coming. I don't know when. I was Googling to find everything that I was able to forage in New Brunswick, and the same guy always came up. The same name always came up, and I'm not a shy person, so I sent that person a message saying, "Hey, would you like to do a collab someday? And do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?" The guy is okay with my questions. He was fine with it. He just didn't want to do a live stream. So now I just have to find a way. He's 6 hours away from me, way down the province, while I'm way up the province. So he's about 6 hours away, and we have to find a way to stream and record the conversation so that I can then go and cut what we don't want to have. I'm not
Can't
sure
you
it's going to
can't
get
you
done.
do a live stream just between the two of you and have a way to record your screen?
I might be able to do it on YouTube, directly on YouTube. Do a private live stream. That-
You would
I
just
know
have to
Angie
find a
was telling
way to
me,
record
yeah,
your screen.
but if I do it on YouTube, I think I can download the video after.
I think so too.
Because Angie was talking about StreamYard, but if you don't have the paid version, you can't do it.
I'm sure there's a way of you guys doing it.
So it's something that I definitely want to do. Forage. There's so many food around here that can be eaten. Um, that's something that I've spent my whole life in the woods. I've had a couple of summer camps about survival in the woods. When we take our hunting course, we have to learn a little bit about that also. Um, does that mean that you have to go away soon?
No, I'm just looking at how late are we were the comments.
Okay.
We are very late.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. I'm blending. Okay, I have a question for you here. I just did a video on hot water bath canning versus pressure canning. I have a Presto pressure canner and go through all the safety features, etc.
Oh, nice. I would have to go check it out. Well, I know the basics. I think I watched like 100 videos of living tradition homestead. I just need to face that fear. I am really enjoying pressure canner potatoes. I heard they're soft though when you pressure can them.
You can also can spaghetti with meat. I
Yes,
would be cautious about this to do it as a
stews.
soup and adds cornstarch to it when
Yeah, I don't add cornstarch to my pressure canning or my canning because it's not considered safe.
I've never done it at all. So Marilyn posted the video for Alana, um, the one she was just talking about, I guess. How are your rabbits? They're fine. I
For
had to
now.
bring one inside. Well, there's one that actually ate his way out of the cage. He was gone for about um, maybe 36 hours. By the time I noticed he was gone, I couldn't see tracks. And then the following day, before the snow started, well, not before, but after the first couple of hours after it started, I could see the tracks of the rabbit coming close to the cages. So that way, I was able to find him, and I brought him inside. But they're all fine. Nobody has mentioned having more kids for extra labor. If
Mm-mm.
they
I'm done with kids. I'm no, 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 no more kids. No more kids for me.
they make more messes.
Oh God, no! I
They don't
being
help much.
pregnant and homesteading. Oh God, no, no, I can't do that. Like I have so much respect for women that is pregnant, carrying children on her back and her belly. Oh God, no, no, I can't. I'm done with kids for now. At least for now.
Northumberland Acres, your own Team Jellyfish in Shed Wars. Um, is that Robert or is that John? Because like I was drafted the first night. I saw a bunch of stuff going on the live stream, trades and everything. I was like, oh my god, I don't want to get traded. Um, I missed the second night, and then I kind of, I don't even know who's on my team. I don't even know what's going on. Besides, I know it starts on the 20th, so that's pretty much all I know. I think the old squash in America were propagated by okay. Remy podcast. Maritime gardening is always doing a video. They're not live, so it is possible. Yeah, I would have to read into podcast. It's actually, yeah, it is a good idea. It's something that I can definitely do. Um, Carpenters Self Reliance, welcome to the chat. So that means you have to go, or is that? Oh,
That's not me.
oh, it's my Facebook. Someone's calling me on Facebook. Just a second. Sister-in-law. Oh. Sorry about that. All right. Tracks from my last video. I made those mystery tracks. I'm thinking it's a dog, um, because I had a garbage bag in my garage because, I mean, even though we try to recycle as much as we can, there's always a time during the week the kids are going to go and make a big cleanup in their rooms, throw away a bunch of old toys that don't work or, broken stuff, um, clothing that's, bunch of holes and dirty and can be cleaned or whatever. So we end up throwing a lot of garbage bags of, trash, and we don't always have space in our trash can, so we end up putting it in the garage, and the dogs came and destroyed everything, and I can see the tracks of the dogs leaving my driveway, so I'm pretty sure it was a dog. Pregnant and chasing pigs, no fun. He's a frog like me, so I'm a frog.
Pregnant. Was the comment written? Pregnant and chasing
Chasing
pigs.
pigs, no fun.
Mm-mm, not fun at
So
all.
I'm on Team Frog. Looks like you're due for some more snow, or me here in Melanie Southern. Just be getting some rain to help get rid of the last. Yeah, there was talk about possibly having up to 80 centimeters of snow. I told the kids not to open the door tomorrow morning. If you want to get the dog out through the basement, through the garage, because, yeah. Okay, so you're on John's team. So, okay. Everyone always call when you go live. It's a given. Yeah, they
Yep.
usually call on my cell phone from their own phone. So I'm guessing it's either something that's not working or, oh, she didn't mean to call. She was trying to text me. Okay, all right. Gotta go. Painting science in the Eastern Ontario Homesteading Conference. Good night. Thank you very, very much for dropping by. So is your time up, Annie?
I'm not no messages yet, so everything
So
looks
just
fine.
stay for a few more minutes.
Yeah,
All
I'll let
right.
you catch up on on the messages.
I think I'm up to date.
Are you sure?
Well,
I,
maybe I didn't show them up, but I've read them as I was
I
going
saw
through.
someone that had a question for me.
Oh, maybe.
Let me go up. Uh, or maybe it was an older one. Looks like.
I'm gone up far and I don't see anything.
Okay. Well, it must have been an
This
old one.
year, I guess convenience
Yeah.
food
That.
kind of healthy.
Oh yeah. That's. I saw that. It's probably to what I said to have like expressed pressure can meals.
I use cotton scraps as rags and then make char cloth after. Yeah, my dad's a mechanic, so whenever we have old clothes, we try to keep it for him. He doesn't like when I say he's getting older, but I mean he's 62 years old. It's time he stops bending under cars, and you know he has to retire for good. So I'm not gonna keep him that kind of stuff anymore. But that's what I used to do with them. Use them to clean up the oil and stuff like that. Joe and Sue's off grid homestead. Welcome to the chat. Just checking in. Thank you for being here. Increased time and temperature on my sourdough bread. It's a better result.
Did I mention that I was doing sourdough on the live today? I don't think
Maybe
so.
she saw one of your videos or one of your posts.
Probably. I use a heat mat from my seedlings to do the same thing, so that's probably what she's talking about.
Don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you, Annie. Just say wiser, wiser. Yeah. All right. So, anyone has any more questions or any comments they want to add? Probably gonna be Annie's time to go anytime now.
Well, I wanted to say one more thing. Doing what I'm doing and doing what you're doing, we all do it differently. We have different backgrounds, different knowledge. Some of us work, some of us don't work, some of us are full time at home. I just want to say to everyone to have fun first. Because growing food to preserve food is good. But if you're growing food and you're driving yourself completely crazy, it kind of defies the purpose.
Yeah. And to me, it's so easy because whenever I'm outside, um, just I can just sit there in the garden drinking coffee, and it's the best feeling ever. Um, I don't need to work hard. I just do what I can. If I don't feel like going in the garden, I don't. But it's never happened. I mean, except for that little part where I was, told I couldn't have any animals, and um, I was down for a little while. I kind of neglected my garden for a few days, a few weeks. Um, but beside that, I feel energized again this year. I feel like everything's going to be a whole lot better because I'm going to have animals and they're not going to be here. So nobody can say anything about that.
Anything. Yep.
And if they want to come and cause trouble, well,
They
sorry.
can't because they're not at your place.
Exactly.
Yeah. There is
Exactly.
another thing. Don't think that failing won't happen.
Yeah, it does.
Failing is necessary. I know we are raised to never talk about failure. Failure is taboo. Oh no, I don't fail. They hide it behind the bush. But you need to fail to understand where your food comes from. You need to fail to figure out how to grow food. Because even though you read all the books, you saw all the content there is on YouTube or wherever, if you don't fail, you won't learn.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So you have your answer right there.
Yeah. I had a little boo-boo with my sourdough starter. Something got in it, so I dehydrated part of it, and now I have to revive it. So I kind of had to put it on the back burner. But at least like I had a plan B in case that happened, thank God, because then I would have to restart my entire starter.
Yeah, I guess it is a hard job. I mean, I'm not saying my dad is not in good shape. We go deer hunting. He's probably the one that walks the most between my brother and I. he probably walks more kilometers in a day where we go hit deer hunting than my brother and I do together. That's his fun. He goes out and he just wants to go and walk, and he keeps saying that eventually he'll wake up a deer somewhere, and if he doesn't have a shot, someone else in the area will have a shot at him. So that's his way of hunting. So he's somewhat in shape for his age. I have to give him that. Have fun and make progress forward. Yeah, you, I have fun when I learn, and I have fun when I have. Um, I'm not gonna say pressure because it's not necessarily the pressure of like it's not the same pressure as I have when I go to work, but I love that pressure of competing and doing your best. Um, that's when I strive. That's when I'm at my best, and that's what I love. So whenever I put pressure on myself just to make as much food as possible every year, this year is even gonna be more. Um, I love it. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it to start. So a lot of people are leaving. Thank you very much, everyone who was here. Angie, Mike,
Hi, Angie.
C,
Bye, Mike.
Elena, Cocker, the rustic wife. So I think we're up to date again. I have the most fun when I'm instantly perfect at a new skill with zero learning curve and zero mistakes. I'm like that too. When you succeed the first time, it has a little something. When I
Yeah,
did
it's
my first
special.
maple syrup batch last year, it wasn't perfect, but it was so good. And well, the little bit that I was able to get was delicious. The kid literally just drank the whole jar, so I didn't get much out of that one. Having fun and enjoying life while at the same time providing for yourself and your family is what this lifestyle is all about. Yep, living life to the fullest. I totally agree with that. There's something about one, growing your own food, two, enjoying being outside, and three, I mean, you can save money. I know Hickory Croft did a video a couple of days or weeks ago about how you can grow, preserve the seeds, and keep growing. They were talking about squash, and I think they were the way they were doing the math is after 5 years, you would have saved about $10,000 worth of food by growing squash, and it's a very very easy vegetable to grow. So it's just insane when you think about it. You put a seed in the ground, it grows up almost by itself. I mean, you have to water it a little bit and just remove the weeds, but it doesn't really cost more than that. You pay what, $2 for an envelope full of seeds,
Hmm.
and then you have
You
two
just
or
have to be
three
careful for
squash.
the cross pollination.
Uh,
You have to be careful for cross
yeah,
pollination.
yeah. And Sells offered me a little spot on his property. He said, if you want to plant anything here, go ahead and do it. And I told him, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is, even if it's just a 4 by 4 square, I have four different plant of squash growing. That's a very good idea because if I do that and he doesn't grow squash, there's no chance of cross pollinating between them and the ones I have here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use a couple of garden beds for my squash. I'm gonna I'm gonna plant some at the community garden, but I know a lot of people are growing squash there, so there is a risk of cross pollinating
Uh, it's
squash.
a 1 kilometer, if my memory is correct, for
It's
cross
what?
pollination. 1 kilometer.
Kilometer. Wow.
So if you want to make sure that they don't cross pollinate, you have to remove the male flower. You pollinate the female, and then you use an elastic and you tie
You
the
tie it up. Yeah.
flower. And then when you open it, I think it's 10 days after, if there's a fruit inside, then you can reopen it. That's the only way you can have multiple squash without cross pollination. So that means you have to be in the field in the morning when the blossom opens, and you have to do that. It's a lot of work.
I don't mind the cross pollinating um, for the fruits themselves because I love squash so much. I'm gonna eat it anyway. It's just too bad that I can't save the seeds as heirloom
No.
seeds.
Well, if you have, let's just say, a spaghetti squash and a pumpkin and you cross them, it could be an interesting cross.
I received some seeds. I don't remember who it was from. It could have been from Burning Acres, where they crossbred pumpkins and
Spaghetti squash.
spaghetti squash, and I guess that it grows way faster than normal squash, or I don't know. It did pretty well, I guess, and they send me seeds from that squash. Gardening is dependent on Mother Nature at the end of the day, so not everything is going to grow and thrive, no matter how much you try.
Well, if it's in clay soil, I can tell you right now, Mother Nature was never on my side.
But there's always a way to fertilize
Yes,
your
yeah,
soil. I
there's
mean,
always a
it
way,
took
but
work a lot at
100
first, but
100% clay soil. Even though if I do the mother nature dance, it didn't work. I had to add a little bit of love to my land, my soil.
Life with Belinda and Chuck. Well, hello. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. Caitlin is leaving, I think. Goodbye. Thank you for being here as well. When I was working in a bakery, the owners were bringing in their sourdough with them in holidays. It was fun. Cool.
Well, it's a living thing. Everything that's fermented is a living thing. So sourdough starter is a living bacteria, and then the kefir, same thing. So you can bring it with you, and you can make bread. Um, I have to go.
All right. Thank you very much for being here. It was a blast.
It was super fun. Bye, everyone. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
How do I close mine?
You just click. There you go. All right. Does anyone want to come up, chat for a few more minutes? I can post a link. There you go. If anyone wants to come and say hi, you're welcome to come. Chris did an interesting video lately on squash growing for seeds. Yes, there's a couple of videos that they did that ended up being in my save list. Even if it's just those economics videos they make, it's not something that how can I say it? It's not necessarily something that you learn every time you watch it. Or it's not a video that you can save and say, okay, I'm going to watch it later because I want to know how to do this. But it's so interesting that you start listening to it and it's just wow, like you want to know the numbers. They have everything there. Puts things in perspective, really. So nobody's coming up, or oh, Tracy's there. Hello, Tracy.
Hello, I'm still getting set up.
All right, no worries. If anybody else wants to come say hi as well, the link is there.
That light is way bright.
Yeah, when I heard that radio little podcast, I guess I don't know how to call it. Glad I came by and get to know some of you better as people. Well, thank you very much, and you don't have to leave now. You can come and say hi if you want. Yeah, I was listening to this radio thing, and they were talking about how much food gets wasted in a year, and you know, um, it's not only at the farmer's level, it's at the store's level, but in the household as well. Like at so many different levels, the food gets wasted, and uh, it's not okay, really, when you think about it. It's not okay to waste that much food.
No, no. There's a lot of waste that goes on, and the reason you got the waste not want not is because if you waste a lot of food, you're not going to have it when you need it. Um, and it's something I think everybody kind of deals with.
Hello, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
I wasn't going to bug you again, but I figure I can get more practice before I do my own live.
Yeah, well, you're doing great. You're doing great. Way better than me when I first started. I mean, you're
Yeah,
better now than what I'm doing now. So I've had a couple of experience under my belt. So how about you guys? Do you do any planning before, like, I mean, at this time of year, I'm guessing there's always a preparation, but do you plan on paper everything you do, how much stuff you're going to grow, how much stuff you think you're going to need? Is that something you do?
I used to, and I draw a map of the garden on graph paper and try to do it that way, and it works fairly decent. I don't always stick to it, but that's the only way, because I have the main garden, and then I plant what used to be the chicken run, because now I free range the chickens, and I plant like squash in there. Now I don't worry so much about heirloom, about cross pollination, unless I'm going to save the seeds for next year, like with the squash and stuff. I've got a place back in the woods I've always wanted, where we used to have pigs, where I've always wanted to plant squash and melons and stuff, fence it in. But now hearing that, Annie said 1 kilometer. Yeah, it's not a kilometer away, but
I've had a couple of squash last year. I had spaghetti squash, and I'm pretty sure it was zucchini right next to it, and they cross-pollinated. And my girlfriend was like, "Well, those are not spaghetti squash." I'm like, "Yes." I opened like I cut them in half, and they are, but they were green instead of being like the yellowish color that they're supposed to be. But
Yeah,
whatever, they were good.
What did I grow that year? I grew some squash a few years ago, and it did not look like it was supposed to, and I didn't have any squash growing, so I think maybe the seeds I got were cross-pollinated. So I'm trying to remember what the heck it was. It was good. It tasted good. It just did not look like the picture.
Oh.
But I don't really plan. I plant what I know we like to eat, and like bell peppers. We go through a lot of bell peppers. We love Mexican food, and I mean, I can eat a bell pepper like an apple. Like, I love bell peppers, colored bell peppers. I don't like green peppers at all. So I always plant a ton of them, because like we literally we have 2 frozen bags of bell peppers from our garden last year still in the freezer. So we're doing pretty good. So I think I grew just the right amount, and they weren't all mine, though. I did get quite a few from the farmer's market, because I lost a lot of my bell peppers last year.
So I'm gonna do what I'm not supposed to do again. I'm a piss minute. Whenever I drink beer, I gotta go. I'll be right back. I'm gonna let you guys keep on talking. I'll be right back as soon as I can.
What do they say? You don't really own beer; you just rent it.
I can't. Yeah, I that's just my second beer, and I think it's like the 5th time I go pee. So I'll be right back.
Oh.
Oh, I went and bought more grow lights today.
I ordered, I found some grow lights on Amazon, and I ordered them. I think they were $19 or $25, but
Oh, wow.
they run off USB. And
okay, yep.
They've got 3 or 4 arms, and I've got chargers everywhere. And I think it's only 30 watts an hour. So that hopefully will keep my plants, because the window that I've got them in
it looks like a good window.
Yeah.
I saw your video. Yeah, it looks like you have a good amount of sun coming through there.
Yeah, it's a southern facing window, and my problem is I have to, if I forget to rotate the planter, they'll get real stringy. So I think of these grow lights, I think, will really help. And since they run off USB, I charge everything. That was my whole. If it's battery operated and has a charger, then it can't take all that much electricity. So
yeah, I've got my the one I call the octopus, the standing one with the purple lights. That can be USB if you want. Yeah, it can either be, it's both. So, but I just went and bought the a couple more of the ones I bought yesterday, because I end up loving them so much. They're working great in there, and I'm like, yeah. Actually, it was my husband. He's like, why are you trying to bend this octopus thing to where you want it to. Let's just go get you a couple more. Well, I'm not going to argue.
Right? Holy cow, that would be like Wendy telling me to buy a gun. Okay, no argument.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to argue. So yeah, it's going to be much better. So this way, the very top shelf gets the octopus arms, and everyone else is getting beside them and hang them up on the other shelves, and they're doing great. So I'm like, yep. So it's a little bit of money, like I said to him, I said, I know it was a lot this year, but we'll have them for several years, right? So that first year, it's always, and I want to make sure, like, every year we buy a little bit more and a little bit more,
Yeah,
so we make sure we have a better year every year.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince myself. I found a greenhouse. It's $199, but it's like 20 foot by 10 foot wide by 7 foot high, and it's just a cheapo thing. But if it adds to my growing season, then I win.
Yeah, no, we got a new greenhouse this year. It's in our second living room, we call that. And I love growing things, but I'm already sick of it in the way. I'll be happy when it's all down and everything's in the garden. But yeah, we've been getting snow all day.
Yeah. Here too, I guess we're supposed to be hit very hard. It's discouraging when you see all those videos of people, I was looking at one of Michael Sharp's video saying how he was winter gardening or something like that, and it was like
winter gardening,
grass everywhere and sand, and I'm like, what? This is your winter? You should see my winter. There's no way you can garden in my winter.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this time of year, it's like every time I go to the store, I have to buy something. It's an addiction.
They jump in your cart. They jump in your cart. And then you get to the register, you're like, how did you get in there?
It wasn't so bad. I went to the dollar store and I figured, I have to do some container gardening for Shed Wars. And at dollar store, they have those little buckets that you can buy, and they hook up on a ramp or on the rail of your deck. So I have a spot where I can put them. I can plant stuff in them right now, like lettuce and stuff like that, and then I can just transfer it outside. So it's a win-win situation. Hello, Hickory Craft Farm, Chris and Steph. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, they and they're pretty good. Like, they're thick plastic, Remy. They're not, I've seen them. They even have the ones, they're all sold out of ours. I knew I should have grabbed them when I saw them. But they have the ones that you can put on top of one another, the towers, and then you can grow thing. And I knew I should have grabbed a few to try it. And we went back and they're gone. They're all gone. And they probably won't get any more in.
I don't think I've seen the ones, the tower ones. Or maybe that's what I purchased and I didn't realize it was that. But I purchased some that were square. And I think they can, if you have your railing like this, they kind of come on top of them like that. And on both sides,
I saw those.
They have buckets. Or well, not buckets, but it's one big bucket. They're made like this, and then
these were round, but they had 4, and then when you put another one on top, so you'd have 8, and then you could put another one, and things can grow. I guess strawberries grow really good and things like that. So I was gonna get a few and try that, but they're gone. I knew I should have grabbed them when I saw them.
I purchased also some that are just on one-sided. You just hook them to the rail, and they're 3 different baskets or whatever together. One that's a double one, and I bought another one that's just a single one. So I figured I'd buy one of each and see what happens with that later. It's not really planning. I don't really do much planning either, like I was telling Annie earlier. It's just I do as much as I can. So
as much as I can, because I'm trying. I figure it's not going to go to waste.
Exactly.
I'll can it, I'll freeze it. I am getting I have an old dehydrator. It doesn't have you can't set the temperature and all that. You literally plug it in, turn it on, and kind of have to judge. And it's great for herbs and when I want to dry herbs quicker and things like that. But to get a little bit more involved until I can get a freeze dryer. Oh, I'd love to have one of them. But man, are those things expensive? You could get a used car for the cost of one of those freeze dryers. But so I think I actually saw one at Canadian Tire today, and they go on sale for around $80 or $110, but they'll go on sale for $80. And it's one that you can set the temperature, and it will have settings for if you're growing specific or dehydrant. I might try that this year. That might be something I'm gonna try. So nothing's gonna go to waste this year. I'm gonna can my butt off if I have to. And freezers, we have 3 freezers, one giant standing one, a little small chest one, and then a really skinny one that we picked up off Walmart online last year. It was clearance for like $80. Yeah. And it held all my frozen fruit last year. So it worked out. So
yeah, those little, I got a little freezer down to my brother's, and it is my goal to one day before I leave this life to have a freezer and a power system for it up here on the homestead. This, who knows? I mean, I'm off grid because I want that backup, and I really like not paying the powers that be for something I can get for free. Well, now I think I'm running pretty much free. I think I paid for all my solar panels and stuff now, I think, if I were paying an electric bill. So, but you know, that whole freezer thing, you know, my refrigerator's propane. I don't want to do that because in a grid down situation or you know, SHTF situation, propane might not be available. And I try to be prepared so that if the things that are available now aren't available for me, then, you know, because if I get propane and then all of a sudden propane is unavailable for some reason, cost gets too high or whatever, then I've got to eat everything in that freezer or it goes to waste.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually got special insurance, our house insurance. They were going through everything. Do you need this? Do you need this? She goes, what about deep freezers? I says, oh yeah. At the time we only had 2. I said, we do have deep freezers. And I said, you know, we buy a lot in bulk and get like meat orders. She said, we can offer you special. So we have all of our freezers are insured for $3,500. If the power, and it counts if the power goes out, if our freezers die on us, and all we have to do is take pictures of everything, send them, and we're covered. So, and it didn't cost us, like, it didn't make our monthly premium go it was nothing. So I said, to me, that's worth it. That's peace of mind knowing if all that, I would still cry because it would still go to waste, but at least, you know, it won't cost us a whole lot of money trying to get it all back stocked up again. Right. So I can say Celsius here. I'm an American who's been living in Canada for 30 years, and I still do winter. I do Fahrenheit. Summer, I can do Celsius. But I can't understand if you tell me it's 2 degrees Celsius outside. I still don't know how cold that is.
Since Remy and Anny and all of the Hickory Croft Farms and all them, I keep my phone right next to me so I can say, hey, Google, what is 4 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
I'll show you my phone right now for mine. See, mine is
2 degrees Fahrenheit.
You're not gonna be able to see it. Mine's Fahrenheit in the winter because I can't figure out how cold that is.
And then
I can do summer. I can figure out summer.
I find you're muted, I think, Remy.
No wonder you guys weren't listening.
Sorry.
No, I thought it was you. I saw the little mic muted on top of your head. I thought you were muted. So I was trying to talk and nobody was listening. I was like, what? All right. I just have a question regarding lettuce. Do you guys, maybe someone in the chat or maybe one of you, do you have any way to preserve lettuce for long term? Because we grow a lot of lettuce.
I haven't found a way.
Yeah, there's no way, right? I don't think there is.
Could you freeze it like greens, maybe? I mean, you're not going to cook it.
No, that's the thing.
There's so
much
content.
Now, see, you probably could freeze dry it. If we had a freeze dryer, it would make it into, a
Yeah.
powder or whatever and stuff. I don't know if you could dehydrate it because there's so much water. You'd never
Yeah,
be
I
able to
think it's
get,
like
I don't think, all the
75%
water
water.
out. Yeah.
I mean, if I grow
if
too
you
much,
did freeze it, you might be able to throw it in smoothies.
yeah, I don't know if it would be any good in smoothies though. I've
I
never
know
had
they
that.
used to use root cellars a lot, and that would preserve them for a while. I mean, maybe get you into
Cabbage.
yeah,
Some cabbages will last a long time.
Yeah, like I
it
know you
might,
can
I don't like
preserve spinach
cabbage.
and stuff
but
like that.
with the lettuce, I think you'd be looking even in a root cellar
Right.
at January or February, or no, but probably sometime in January where it would still start going bad.
That's a big thing about dependency on anything. It's good when you can get it, but when you can't, it's hard to get away from everything. And it comes back to what we
Yeah.
were saying on our live stream the other day, Chris, about technology. Technologies are there. They're fun to use. I mean, we all use them, but someday it won't be there anymore, or I mean, it might not be there anymore. And then what? I think we have to do a little bit of both to know how to do both. To use what you have, but at the same time be ready when it's not there.
Yeah, it's like having a cross-cut buck saw for dropping trees and bucking up your wood. You can have one in reserve, which I want to get one someday, but then you need to use it a couple times in a season because your body is the engine of that. And if your body is not ready to run that saw, that buck saw, you're gonna be in for a surprise when you go from a chainsaw to the handsaw.
In Sweden, back in the early 90s, they piloted a Swedish house being heated by a body temp. It was super insulated.
Wow.
Cool. 50 Fahrenheit, 10 Celsius. Yeah, insulation is key for
It's funny because I call my husband the walking furnace. I say, if we could plug you into the house and heat the house, we would save a fortune. So a body temperature house would work with him.
I have a video that's, I think I got it on my watch later list, but I've watched it like 2 or 3 times, and the guy ran 150 feet of 3-inch PVC pipe under the ground where it stays at like 58 degrees, and then he ran it into his basement, and it's got vents in the floor, and then on top of the roof he put the those wind driven fans, the wind turbine things like you see on barns.
Mm-hmm.
And in the summer it keeps his house cool, and in the winter it's a lot easier to heat from 58 degrees than it is from 20.
Yeah, we say all the time, if we win the lottery, we wouldn't do a great big mansion, everything. We would build a house that was completely like geothermal. So the ground would heat it, cool it, solar. So we would never have to pay the gas company, the hydro light bill company, none of them again, because I am so sick of paying them. And I said, that's what we would do. Like we would just have a bigger homestead and be a little bit more self-sufficient. We wouldn't buy no mansion and
Yeah.
To answer your question, Eldan, I have one daughter that eats a lot of lettuce, and the other one's not as much. I love a good salad. I can eat salad. Well, I used not to eat salad at all. Now I could go once daily and I wouldn't mind. The only thing is, you never know how much to grow, and you always want to make sure you have enough.
Yeah.
So I always end up having, like, in the fall when the snow started, I still had lettuce in my garden. I had to hurry up, go get it, and give it to the rabbits. And then Ren's Homestead is saying you can give it to the rabbits. Yes, but I'd rather have it for myself. If there was a way to preserve it, it'd be fine. But if it's not, I mean, it's not a big deal.
Well,
I can't.
You have indoor growing area to start your seeds and stuff, right?
Yeah, but what happens is, it's kind of in the way most of the time. So I do it for a month or two, and then once everything is outside, I'm happy that it's gone. We remove the shelves, and it gives us more space.
Yep.
So to have that back and bring everything inside again, it's a little
But
bit more tricky.
maybe just one window shelf or something, one planter in a window just for leaf lettuce.
See, I start off great. Like at the end of the season, I'm like, oh, I'm going to bring a couple of these in and we'll keep trying to get them. And then by November, December, I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? I'm so sick of these in the house. Like, there's a reason there's a season, right? The season's done because you slow down a little bit. You enjoy your harvest, all your hard work through the season, and then you slow down. So I've learned that, it's a little, by the time it comes, you're sad to see it go, but you're also happy because it means, okay, now we can rest a little bit,
I can
hibernate.
relax. Right now, we're all getting into the spring mode. It's time to go.
Let's go.
Have so much
We're
energy. I don't know what to
energized.
do with. It was so sunny and beautiful here yesterday. It was above freezing. The sun was out, and I'm like, oh, it just energizes you. Like I got so much done yesterday, and then today it was gloomy. The snow started again, and then Monday we're supposed to be. Okay, let me see if I can do this. It's around 8 Celsius Monday, so we're getting close to the 50 mark. Nice. After a snowstorm tonight.
I got 10 gallons of sap for the first time this year.
Oh, wow.
This afternoon I checked it and I wasn't happy. There's barely not even a gallon in each bucket. And then I had one bucket had 4 gallons, another had 2. I ended up, out of the 10 buckets, I ended up with 10 gallons.
Heat pump kind of deal.
Oh, with the ceiling, the fans on top of barns.
Yeah.
I always wondered if you could hook a little alternator generator type thing from a truck to one of those. Those suckers have some power to them.
So you can heat using the Delta.
Boy, Rim, I had to laugh last night. Like after we got off here and everything, and we went to bed or whatever, and I woke up about 11. I couldn't sleep, so of course I grabbed my tablet and I go on. They were still doing a live with Thor Haven. I think that went to after midnight last night.
Wow. Yeah, before I went to bed, I saw a comment. Someone was saying it feels like we're in a club back in the days. Everyone was there having fun, drinking.
Yeah,
that must have been a blast. Yeah. It was just wrong night for me because it would have been fun to be there. Darren invited us before the live stream, but I was with Tracy, and then I had to go spend time with my girlfriend. I mean, I can't leave her aside for too long. I have to take care of my girlfriend.
Not if you want to keep her around.
Yeah, was it Darren's birthday? I think maybe.
Oh, maybe.
I thought I saw. I thought I saw something somewhere.
I didn't see that on Facebook.
Yeah. I just saw for a few minutes, and like he was saying, like I watched a little bit of the rerun this morning, and he was just saying how it had been a heavy week. And it's funny because that's how I'd been feeling, and a lot of other people I've been talking to. I don't know what it was about last week, but it just seemed like everything was heavy. It just seemed like after, I think I've done really, really well, and then like the last few months, I've struggled. Like, the first year of the pandemic, it didn't change a lot for us in the beginning because we're homebodies anyway. Like we're not around anyone anyway, so it didn't change a whole lot for us other, I mean, like in that aspect. But even I'm starting to feel it now. Store lettuce and rabbits.
Yeah, they would keep it.
I think many of us that winning the lottery wouldn't change the direction we're going, just perhaps the scale of speed that things get. Yeah. That's exactly what I keep telling my girlfriend. If I ever win the lottery,
I'd buy a tractor. I'd buy.
Exactly. There's 2 things I would do. I would get rid of this house, even if I had to give it away. I would buy a land somewhere where I can build from scratch. And the second thing I would do, I keep telling everyone I know, there's a house up my village next to a lake, and the woman living there, I know she was harassed at some point. People were bullying and making messes on the property, so she ended up buying the whole land next to the lake, And here in Canada, nobody can stop you from fishing in a lake
Right.
unless there's a regulation saying that it's you can't fish trout there or whatever. But the thing is, you're not allowed to walk on her land to get there. And she bought all the land next to the lake, and she stops everyone from fishing there. And I know some people have gone there at night and in the morning, and they've caught some monster trouts. So there is huge fish in there. If I ever win the lottery, I don't know how much it's going to cost me,
You'd
but I'm
buy her
going
out.
to buy that woman a little place somewhere, and I'm going to buy that place even if it costs me $1 million. I'm going to buy that place.
I think if money was not an issue, I think I've got my 20 acres, I've got my 32 by 32 house, off grid, all that already. I think I would try to purchase the land behind and on the sides of me and across the road just to secure that so it doesn't
Yes.
become populated.
Mhm.
And but yeah, I would definitely have more toys, tractors, and stuff to help me with what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
I think
Especially as we get a little older.
Yeah.
That's your spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Yeah.
There's a house. There's a place here for sale. It is beautiful. It's got a nice home, all one level, but it's a good size. And then they have a guest house, so my family could come live and stay or whatever. And then they've got a giant barn already built because they've had horses, and they're up on a hill, so their views are spectacular. And it comes with 40 acres. It's like $3.5 million. If we want enough, I'd go buy that because it's already. The barn's built, like everything's ready. And they even have a stream, right? Like it has everything. I'm like, yep, that's what we go buy right there. We go tell them here, asking price. There you go. Now get out.
A lot of people would change their lives if they won the lottery. And
Yeah.
I've heard stories about people winning the lottery and then like buying everything, a big house, big cars and stuff. And eventually they had to go bankrupt because they couldn't even afford
sustain the lifestyle.
Property and So I keep saying like, yes, I'll buy the land because once it's purchased, the land is basically, it's not tax free, but it's so little that it doesn't really make a difference. And then you build yourself a little cabin and then a little lifestyle there, and you'll be fine.
You can plan for the future. You can plan for stuff like that. Where a lot of the lottery winners, you look it up on YouTube, and a lot of them go broke and end up with
divorced,
problems with the
Some
government,
of them,
divorce. But the thing is if we just plan ahead and say, okay, I've got this much money, that's this much in taxes every year, and if I buy this land, I've got this, and most millionaires and billionaires, my understanding, and I can't try it, don't have the money, but they invest their money and then they take out loans for living expenses, which builds their credit, and while their money is making 16-17% in the mutual funds or stock market or whatever, they're paying 2 or 3% on a loan, and it just it's amazing. There is a guy that does lives. They were talking about Thor's thing got rowdy, and he's in an off-grid cabin. I think he's in Canada or Alaska. It's a beautiful place, but he'll just sit there, music playing in the background, drinking a beer, talking, and he's got a bunch of followers. I'm like, man, I wish I was that good.
Isn't it?
Well, you see so many, and they buy like 25 cars and 5 houses, and it's like, you can only live in one house at a time.
Exactly.
And you can only drive one car at a time. And I mean, I take care of my parents too. Like I do all the things my dad's always wanted to do. You know, we'd set my, you know, you just think of all those things that, you know, but I don't even care. Like I think winning $550 million is insane. Like that's scary
Yeah.
to me. That's a lot like that. Yeah. It changes people. It
Isn't
does.
Isn't it? Is it Billy Bush? You know, from the Alaskan Bush people, the father that recently passed away.
Passed
I
away.
heard that he had a lot of money, but he still wanted to pursue this lifestyle.
Yeah.
I heard that
I don't
too.
know how true it is. I mean, it's something I've heard, but it shows that some people still want this lifestyle.
Well, yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
Brampton Gardner. I'm thinking your name is Rachel. Am I right? Welcome to the chat. I put the link. If anyone wants to join, you can come and have a chat with us. If I won the lotto, I try to keep it quiet. Yeah,
Me too. I'd say I want to don't publish my name anonymous.
Shaquille O'Neal, the
Oh, he does so
giant
much good.
basketball player. he said he tells a story. He spent $1 million in like 2 hours or 3 hours, and what he did was he went and he bought himself a nice car, and he was showing his dad, and his dad's like, "That's great, son. Where's mine?" and he spent a bunch of money, and then he got a phone call from a friend, from a banker that he had been using, and the banker says, "Shaq, I need to meet with you." He said, "Just give me an hour of your time." And he went in, and the guy said, "Listen," he says, "right now you're in your prime." He says, "You're doing great." He says, "But one injury and you're done." He says,
Done.
"Let's set you up so you can have this lifestyle
for
for the rest of your life."
no matter what
And
happens.
Right.
he has got some serious money, some serious investments,
Businesses.
yeah. And that's the thing. You'll never get rich monetarily working for someone else. You've got to be smart and learn how money works. They don't teach us in school how money works anymore.
Nope.
But
Nope.
I'm rich now as far as everything I've got. You know, I'm just, holy cow, I'm tickled pink. I got 10 gallons of sap from my
Yep.
trees. You know,
Exactly.
that made my day.
That's liquid money.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really comes down to what you want to do with your money. I keep saying, like, I wouldn't want to be living the rich lifestyle either. I'd be very happy doing the same life I'm doing now, but just with no
Yep.
bills. Basically, if I
Yes.
could just pay my mortgage, my cars,
Yeah.
and the money I make at the end of the day would be enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't need more than that.
I got a full tank of gas. I'm rich.
You were before you went and got the gas.
I can't even I can't even that we filled my little car today and it took more than it's ever taken ever. And it wasn't
So-
even on empty.
So in my mind, I was right. It's just a way to pronounce your name. So is it Raquel
Rochelle.
or Rochelle?
Well, to me it's Rochelle, but I don't know.
Because the way you have it there in French, it would be Rachel. So I'm guessing Rachel. I usually remove the nest in my birdhouse. Is it good or bad for swallows? It was a question for Hickory Croft. And we'll see the answer in a few seconds. Yeah, it's sad to see people blow through money. Yeah. I guess when you don't have any money for most of your life and you end up with a bunch of money, you feel like you want to show it off, brag or whatever, and people end up, I remember going to a bar. I'm in a village of 2,000 people. So you can imagine if you go in a bar,
You know everybody.
the 10 people that are there, you know them. And I was like, wow. The guys had $100 bills in their hands. There were two guys. If the one would say, okay, they're both falling on the same side. If they were both falling faces down or, wherever, they had 50-50 chance. It's either they both fall on the same side or they don't. Whoever wins keeps $100. They made that for $1,000, just like that, just for fun. $100. The guy lost like $500-$600 right there, just on the spot, just for fun.
That's a lot of money to me.
It is a lot of money when you think
Yeah.
about it. I mean, it's not for a hockey player or a basketball player or a baseball player or, it's not a lot of money for
2
them.
weeks of groceries. That's 2 weeks of groceries for our family.
Yeah, it is paying for my power for sure. Like,
Yeah, I put aside $450 for my groceries for the month. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm seeing the comment now. I'm rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told my girlfriend I was gonna bring her something expensive for supper. We ate in my car at the garage.
Yeah.
Knowing what compounding is as creating a populace, the parasites on those do actually work.
I try it with a loony.
Oh, yeah. I've got a couple of those around here. I ought to mail them to you. I'll never use. Well, maybe I might be able to come up. I don't know, because I'm going to West Virginia with my brother riding the trails this summer in his side by side, and I'm going to film it for the YouTube channel and posterity. Hope you don't kill me.
Croft is answering Maridan's question about removing the nest from the bird boxes or something like that.
Yeah.
I know it's pretty sad. I'm going to Florida in like 3 weeks for my mom's birthday, just for the 4 days. And I think this is awful to say. I think I'm more excited about the convention in May.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
I want to go to the convention so bad. I really do.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I mean, right now I can do the PCR test, but you have to do it at a pharmacy before I come back. I can't do one like home and just show them my test results. So, but apparently my dad said it's not, if they charge me anything, it may be $20 at their pharmacy there at Walmart. So I said, okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, I don't mind that. And who knows? It's still almost a month away. Maybe they'll even get rid of that. You know, who knows?
My biggest fear is crossing the border, because in New York, if you get the common driver's license, it's not federally accepted.
Right. My mom found that out last fall.
So I don't know.
Delta wouldn't take it. Yeah, Delta wouldn't take it. And on her card, it's the Nexus card. But on it, it says can be used as passport to Canada. And Delta still would not let her board with it. She had to switch. She was supposed to fly into Toronto, and she ended up having to fly into Canada or New York. We still couldn't go over and get her. So we had to pay for car service to bring her over here. And we met her at the border in Niagara Falls. But I was a nervous wreck because, I'm putting my mother into a car service with some stranger. It was horrible. It was worse when we had to send her back that way too, but it was so good to see her. That's the longest I'd ever gone without seeing my mother. A little over 2 years. We'd never gone that long, ever. So
yeah, it's sad I do understand at some point why they did it at first.
Yeah.
I work in a hospital. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I understand some of the stuff that's going on. I see different things maybe than most people, but I mean, up to last week, for all the healthcare workers, wherever we went in Canada, we had to get the approval and get tested when we got back. We needed to get an approval to get out of New Brunswick. At first, like I said, I understood, because in New Brunswick we had barely no case at all. Right now, it's everywhere. 50% of the people here has it. Mm-hmm. So whether we get tested or not, or we go out or not, it's not going to change.
Whether we wear a mask or not, it's not changing anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand if you go in a patient's room, he's vulnerable, he's sick.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but like we said, here in New Brunswick, the mask mandate ends on the 14th of March. All the restrictions are gone. starting
Ours
Monday.
ends the 21st, our mask mandate. But I'll tell you, ever since the kids went back to school here in February, every day I've gotten an email from the school saying there was a possible risk of COVID on such and such a bus, such and such a bus. So far, not once has it been our son's bus, which is strange. But it just shows you like these kids are vaccinated, they've got masks on, and it's like we got to start living our lives now. Like we just, it's enough. The kids are. I feel for the kids. Like they're just. And my son is medically exempt from wearing a mask. And it makes it hard for him because he gets stopped in school at least several times a day. Why aren't you wearing your mask? Where's your mask? And demanding he put a mask on, and he has to take the time out and say, I'm medically exempt. I'm medically exempt. I'm medically exempt. And that causes a lot of anxiety for him. You know, so it's just as hard for him that he's not wearing one. So, and I mean, when I had my stem cell transplant, I had to wear a mask everywhere for a year and a half because I was vulnerable. I got that, right? So I totally understand, like you said, Remy, going into a patient's room, even without COVID, you got to wear a mask because a cold can kill somebody who's going through
vulnerable.
Treatment. Yeah, that makes sense.
See, I've got this cool thing that God gave me special, apparently. It's called an immune system, and I work with chickens and pigs and gardening, so that immune system is healthy because it's come in contact with all sorts of stuff.
I just don't want to go too deep in that conversation because there's so many things. I mean, we all know YouTube doesn't like that stuff, and I mean, but I know what you mean. I mean, I got my 3 vaccines. Being a healthcare worker, it wasn't mandatory, but I have my reasons. Everyone's got their reasons. Like Angie was saying the other day, we all have our reasons, and I respect everyone that don't want to get the vaccine. My brother's not vaccinated. I mean, we've had our conversation about it, and it's done. And you know,
that's my biggest thing is choice on it. The right over your own body. Do you mean guns?
Tracy,
okay.
I was wondering, are you having the avian flu? Is that anywhere near your part of New York? Because I know in my home state of Maine, it is like running rampant. Like people are having to get rid of because you have to. It's 100% fatal, 100% contagious. So you have to get rid of every chicken. And I guess it's going through like crazy.
I haven't heard anything about it. Okay. The worst problem, thank God, so far I've had with my chickens this year was I got some runny poops and started putting a couple drops of apple cider vinegar in their water, and it cleared it right up.
I give it to them when they were chicks. I gave it to them quite often. Now we do it a couple times a week. I'll put some in their water. Yeah,
we've had one case of avian flu here in New Brunswick that was reported yesterday or the day before. It was a seagull in Riverview, I think.
Oh wow!
I was talking to the woman that sells the chicken feed here, and she's like, "Well, I don't really want to put my chickens in isolation for the whole summer. I mean, she lives next to the sea, so she doesn't want to, keep her chickens inside." And I'm like, "Well, we've been isolated for 2 years. I think the chickens can do it as well." It's sad, but
they said the big thing is, as long as one of the things is like to keep your flock, just with your flock. Like they shouldn't be visiting other chickens. And I'm like, well, that's not a problem. My chickens are like us. They're not very social. They're not out, hanging out at the bar with other chickens. I just found it funny when they were saying that. Like, just keep them from socializing with other chickens. Like,
well,
who's doing that? Saying their creative redundancy is spot on. On both sides, I have to agree.
I'm so tired
both
of
sides,
it.
The pros and the cons or whatever. There's been too much arguing, fighting, insults, whatever.
Yeah.
This
You
is the
have a
more
right.
open I've been about it on the social media because you can't say anything anymore.
Nope.
I've been harassed. I've been insulted. I've been called. I've been told that I was going to be brought in trial for a crime against humanity because I said I saw a patient die at some point. Um, I mean, that's why I just never want to talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, Rem. Yep.
But
It's
we need
great.
to
Yeah.
we need to start talking back. And I mean, for me, it is a big step going to Ontario to the conference. Um, anxiety,
dreams go to
I'm
the
hit by
floor.
anxiety a lot, but
Mhm.
at some point,
I
like you all said, we have to get on and
I'm
move
nervous too,
forward.
Rem, because it'll be the first time, in over 2 years that we've been around that many people at once.
Yeah,
And it's just weird because your brain's gotten so used to,
yeah,
a certain
yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Like going down the aisles one way, right? And then going down the other
Yeah.
way. I still find myself doing that.
We've had for a little while last summer. I think it lasted for about a month and a half, maybe, where all the restrictions were dropped,
Yeah.
and we had the Acadian Day party, and it kind of felt weird at first when we started talking about going to the party. There was about 1,000 people right there under the tent, I think. And when we got there, it's like, okay, this is the first time in a year. And then we started getting drunk, and everything was forgotten, and everything was fun, and nothing bad happened. It was half outside, half indoors there, but
Yeah.
you get used to it quickly. I think we're gonna once we start moving forward, things are gonna get back to
I hope
normal.
so.
I'm
Yeah, but you're
sure
right. I
hoping so as
mean,
well.
I tell the kids all the time what a boring world this would be if we all agreed on every single thing all the time, right? So it's okay if we don't agree on everything, but we don't have to be jerks about it.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know? Like, geez.
most of the time when I hear conversation that I don't necessarily agree with, I just won't say a thing, and I'll let
Me
people
too.
talk, like Tracy's doing
Yeah.
now.
What's that? That's the comment I was just about. I was trying to reply to. Bringing guns to a drone fight. It's funny because our president had made the statement years ago, few years ago, that you can't take on the United States military with AR-15s. He called them assault weapons, but now that's exactly what they're doing. The civilians are doing in the Ukraine is they're taking on the world's, I'm going to say, second or third most powerful military with assault weapons or
Well,
AR-15s.
not all guns. Did you see that grandmother? She took out a drone with a mason jar of her home canned canning that she did. She took out a drone with a mason jar full of preserves. So canning can save lives.
Right, absolutely. But I do agree that I don't think I don't think we're near as some people might think to the violence. We need to make sure before we take any route that's going to harm another American or another Canadian that we exhaust every peaceful means to
Yes.
the maximum ability. It is a sad thing. I've been in war, and it's something you don't want.
No.
I
My
mean,
husband's been in enough wars. He doesn't. Yeah, we don't need any more.
yeah. And I mean, like you said, you can disagree with someone. There's a way to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I
It's
think when
okay.
it's done respectfully, this is probably one of the values that I value the most is respect.
Yeah.
For everyone and everything, really. I mean, you got to respect nature, you got to respect the environment, you got to respect people, you got to respect.
We're all
Yes,
on this planet together.
yeah,
You know?
exactly. And whether we like it or not, we all have to live here. So
Yeah.
creating friction doesn't help. It will be the
Yeah.
first time going out for a few days in Nazi family, and it's pretty much the same thing for me. Well,
Us
I see
too.
some friends. I mean, I've always been around a few friends, I've been to a hockey game a couple of weeks back. It felt weird at first, especially since we are required to wear a mask inside. But once everyone is sitting and eating or drinking, you can remove the mask. But
I
everyone
know.
has a pub in their hands and drinking.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
nobody really had a mask. And at first I was like, okay, do I feel safe? But then it's just, okay, all right, let's go. And,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know, like you said, I kind of putting my mind that we have to live with it, and I'm getting better at it. So
I know I'm excited to see our son because we couldn't go to any of his cross country meets in the fall, even though they were outside. We weren't allowed to go to them. So he does track and field too. So I'm so happy we'll be able to go on and root him on, right? Especially because it's his first year in high school doing it. So it'll be nice to go cheer him on and have mom and dad there in the stands, right? So that'll be nice.
Hey Remy, what button do you push to just shut your camera off real quick, just so you can? I gotta go stoke my fire real quick.
there's a stop cam button right down there.
Every time I push that, though, it removes me from the stream.
There you go.
Device not connected for some reason. Okay, well I can put you back when you come back. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, he should just be able to hit the camera when he comes back.
Yeah, probably that's what's going to happen. See, I respect what's being said right now, but it's not my
Yep.
opinion. And I mean, it's okay.
Yep.
I don't know, but I'm ready to get out and do
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we're
It's going to
getting
take
there.
a bit.
We're
Yeah,
getting there.
it's going to take, and everyone's going to go at their own pace. Some people are going to feel, normal, maybe quicker. Other people, it might take them a little bit longer to feel normal, especially kids, right? And I think we need to, the kids might take, some kids are going to, it's going to be hard for some of them. I mean, you think some of them who started kindergarten 2 years ago, they've never known about going to school any other way. Right. So, we got to give them a little bit of grace, because it's gonna, but yeah, I'm just ready for the good weather. Just, good weather makes the world seem a little bit better place. So get my dirt, I've been so happy. My hand, I actually had dirt under my fingernails and stuff this week from planting my seeds. And I'm like, yes, first dirt manicure of 2022.
And with the snow we're supposed to get tomorrow, that's probably what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, there's an expression, like, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but it says to plant a garden is to have hope in the future. Something like that.
yeah.
So
Yeah, Marilyn, we're about to go.
yeah.
I promised the girls, they had a bunch of gift cards for Christmas, and we just didn't have time to go to the mall yet. And I had promised them, that I was going to bring them this weekend. Since there's a huge storm coming tomorrow, I said, you know what, I'll get back from work, pick you up, and go right away to the store, and then I'll have to be back home for my live stream. So I didn't really have time to eat supper yet. It's
Oh no!
Here.
Go eat.
Yeah, I had a couple of Timbits. That's pretty much all I had. I see it as a good metaphor for hope for the future. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
I'm gonna plant some more.
Yeah, definitely, and it's gonna happen probably even more tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm
Be
planning
safe
on
and
doing
stay
more.
warm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will. I'll stay inside. Tomatoes are blooming.
I'll have to watch my weather channel for New Brunswick and see if you guys get 80 centimeters.
Yeah.
I can't even. That's a lot of snow.
Yeah. So take care, everyone.
Yeah. Good night. Have a good weekend.
Stay warm, stay safe, and thank you,
Night,
everyone.
everybody in the chat.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Bye.